Now, if it's one thing that the Trump family hates is undocumented immigrants taking up good old American jobs. Those great jobs that for some reason end up going to undocumented immigrants while Americans sit in poverty. Well, we can't have that, right? Now, this is why Trump Winery, which is a vineyard in rural Virginia run by President Donald Trump's son, Eric Trump, recently fired a group of undocumented workers, some of which who had ended up somehow working there for over a decade. Now, this is not a story that has just happened. Or I'm sorry, that has happened years ago. This story just happened, right? He just fired these people at the end of the year. Now, okay, maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know those people had worked here. I don't know. Let's see. We've got some quotes here, and it gets worse because this is from both the New York Times and the Washington Post. They claim that the firings had just came right after this year's annual harvest. Oh, so they just got done with the grapes, and then now, since I don't need the help anymore, well, that's when they got rid of these people. In fact, Omar Miranda, who was a tractor driver from Honduras, who was among the unauthorized workers who were fired this week, said, quote, "They didn't make this decision in the summer because they needed us a lot then." Yes, they needed us a lot. You mean to say that the Trump family used a group of people for their labor, and then when they didn't need them anymore, then they fired them? No, how completely uncharacteristic of wealthy conservatives. But wait, you might say, look, that's not fair to go after Donald Trump. I mean, he's not running his business. Eric Trump's running the business. And look, Eric does not talk to his dad about his businesses, right? Well, if you believe that, you're also the same kind of person who also believes that Hunter Biden did not talk to Joe Biden when he was on the gas board of Burisma. Of course they talk to each other. Of course they all know about it. It's ridiculous. And look, if you do believe that again, then you obviously don't know how these people work. Now, let me give you another quote here from an immigration lawyer who's advising Miranda. She said, quote, "Donald Trump has known about these workers for months. He waits until the fields are tended, the grapes picked, wine made. He then discards them like a used paper bag. Happy New Year, you're fired." Well, again, you're fired is, where have we heard that before from a Trump? Oh, right. An entire show called The Apprentice dedicated to firing people. Okay. Anyway, so obviously, complete and total hypocrisy. Oh, hey, we need your labor for the harvest, so we're going to keep you on until that's done. But then when it's done, gone. Now, my question is, why didn't you hire American? I mean, your administration is all about hire American, buy American, right? Well, there actually is a good answer that's not related to the Trumps, and that it involves most Americans actually not wanting to do those jobs. And so that's the problem here. Now, let me give you a bit of a personal anecdote, right? So when I was real young, when I was in my teens, right, one of my first jobs was picking strawberries in the summer alongside what I assumed were many undocumented workers. It was about 16, right, in the summer. So now I did that job, and let me tell you, it was hard, hot, backbreaking work. And the pay was terrible. There's no minimum wage at that job. Okay. So let me just let you know that. So my buddy and I, who went to do that job together, and his girlfriend, we lasted about a week. Tough job, right? And we made about enough to split a pizza together at Pizza Hut. That's how low the pay actually is. And this was after having to fight the owner for our pay, who would refer to us as those kinds of people. What does she even mean by that? What does she mean by that? There's a reason that Americans don't do those jobs. Okay. And yet here in this case, of course, I saw people whose families didn't speak English, right? And they worked their asses off in these terrible, hot, hard conditions. If you were to see that, if you were to watch them work, actually watch them work, I think it would remove any doubt you would have about their work ethic and their willingness to work. And yet, of course, Trump and a lot of Republicans, they call them terrible. Oh, they're criminals, they're rapists, they're lazy. No. Donald Trump's lazy. Trump has never worked a goddamn day in his life, never picked berries, never hauled concrete, never worked a day on a factory line. He's not a working class person, and he has never understood the working class. The only thing he's been good at is marketing, duping people who don't have a lot of time, right? People who are working 2 or more jobs, people who are busy raising their families. They hear something from Donald Trump. Oh, that guy's a celebrity. He must know what he's talking about. Oh, he's rich. He must know what he's talking about. Not knowing that in reality, this man has coasted off his daddy, who was a competent and good businessman, despite being an incredible racist. Coasted off this name, coasted off the Trump brand. If he had invested all the money that he had received from his parents in a CD for 30 years, he would be richer than he is now. Allegedly now, because of course we can't actually see how much money he has because he hides his tax returns. So, but look, who Trump is. Trump, and this is why I'm so frustrated at people, members of the working class who love Donald Trump, right? He is the elite. He's not one of us. He's not a worker. He's the boss's son that comes in and acts like he knows everything. That's who Trump is. We all know that guy. He's cocky, thinks he knows better than the workers on the floor, and basically walks around telling people how to do their job and then goes and sits on his ass. We all know that guy. We know that asshole. And look, it used to be everybody hated that guy. Now, apparently, they look at him and a lot of people in the working class look at him and go, no, he's my guy. I love that guy. What are you doing? What are you doing? Look, at least in this election, unlike last time, by the way, because if you voted for Trump last time, and it's because, man, I cannot stomach Hillary Clinton. I don't agree with you. I also can't stomach Hillary Clinton, but I don't agree with your vote, right? But at the same time, I get it. I get it. At least this time, though, what's different than this time or than last time is we actually do have a candidate in the primary that is for the working class. And that candidate's Bernie Sanders. All right. So one more thing here. This is not the first time that the Trump family had gotten in trouble for hiring undocumented immigrants. Last year, there were reports of Trump hotels, golf courses, and other businesses hiring undocumented workers. Yes, this is still during the Trump administration, while they are also trying to crack down on undocumented immigrants. I mean, it's amazing, right? And you don't think that he knows about this? Of course he knows about this. It's his businesses. The one thing that he does care about is making money for the Trump organization. They all knew, but they get their hands caught in the cookie jar and they say, oh no, how could this happen? Undocumented immigrants at our company? No. Can't help that. Nope. Get rid of them. Get rid of them all. Truth is, of course, Donald Trump has really benefited from undocumented labor for his entire career. He is a complete and total hypocrite on this issue. And he uses the same people that he denigrates in order to save a buck at his own businesses. And that, I can guarantee, is who the Trumps really are. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.